Hey, welcome back. It's the Moron Educator here. We're talking gun control today. Hey, the big question, what's the best way to control gun violence? We've got a problem. We know it. We've got to keep guns away from the bad guys. Now, there are two competing theories on this. One's a Democratic one, and basically that states, let's remove guns from our society. And if we can't do that, you got something called the Second Amendment, that we gotta pass more gun control laws. Let's make it really difficult for you as a citizen to have a gun. Let's create gun-free zones. The basic premise here is less guns, less gun violence. Okay, theoretically, seems to make sense. Now the second theory is a typical Republican one, and that is gun ownership is the right of every individual, per our Second Amendment of our Constitution. However, we all agree that we need to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people with sensible laws. So let's put the first theory to a reality test, not a theoretical one. Okay, let's pretend I'm a thug, man, and I just want to whack some dude. He made fun of my host sister. Or heck, I'm just a knucklehead, man. I want to rob some old lady's house, get her jewelry. Stop. Let me ask you a few questions now. It's against the law to whack a guy for making fun of your host sister, right? Do you think that's going to stop that knucklehead? Now, it's also against the law to rob an old lady's house, right? Do you think that's going to stop that guy, some law? Do you think the gun control law is going to stop that guy from getting that pistol? Of course not. Look, he's going to get that gun on the black market. After all, he probably wouldn't be able to pass, a background check. And even if he could pass a background check, why would he want to get it legally? That gun would be traced right back to him. So let's take his crime to the logical conclusion. Let's say he breaks into that old lady's house. Let's pick DC. They have strict gun law rules there. So he robs her house while she's in there. She can't afford to defend herself because she doesn't even own a gun. So she's robbed and possibly raped. It's just brutal. Now let's take the second theory and put that to a reality test. It's essentially to allow a law-abiding citizen to own a gun to protect herself. The same thug who broke all the laws to acquire that gun decides to rob the same old lady's house. This time she lives in Dallas, Texas. Open carry, the whole works. But he breaks into the house by breaking a window at 2 a.m. The old lady hears it, grabs her freaking .38 pistol, waits for the thug to come up to the room, and boom, kills the thug. You tell me, which theory do you think best protects that law-abiding citizen? Okay, that's only one example. We can't base our whole gun laws on one example. I agree. So let's break down the facts of gun violence in the U.S. Let's look at the big picture. Did you know between 2014, 2016, there were an average of 55,000 deaths by guns? A whopping 2/3 were from suicides. That leaves about 18,000 homicides annually. Now, we have a population of 320 million people, and we have 350 million firearms shared between those 320 million people. Of the 18,000 homicides annually, about 900 are from the police. Heck, there's almost as many deaths by gun in 5 neighborhoods in Chicago than there are with cops killing felons. But I digress. How about we look at a 2015 study conducted on open carry states versus non-open carry states. Now, non-open carry states are like California, Illinois, at the time Florida, South Carolina, New York. meaning you cannot carry a gun openly. Now, these are the results. It turns out that violent crimes were 23% higher and robberies 36% higher. In what? In non-open carry states. What? Yes. How about we look at another study that was completed in December 2013. It was on murder and homicide rates before and after gun bans. Now, these are the findings. In every single place where guns were banned, the murder rate shot up. In fact, you cannot point to one place where murder rates have fallen, and that includes Chicago, DC, England, Jamaica, Ireland. All the places that have these stringent banned gun laws. That's amazing. In fact, when the gun ban was implemented in the year 1997 in England and Wales, the homicide rates jumped up a whopping 50% the next year. You know when they came down? Only when more officers were hired and brought in. Now, that makes a lot of sense to me. So what's the conclusion of all this? Well, it appears that gun control laws have very little to no impact on gun violence. Well, as a matter of fact, the statistics point to the very opposite. That's pretty incredible. Well, look, till next time, this is the Moron Educator.